Hey, thanks for tuning in today and happy Mother's Day for those on the weekend. Today I'll be doing a speech at a Mother's Day high tea event for 300 high school students and their mothers. And the topic I'm talking about is how to be a great daughter, because no one teaches us how to do that. So sharing some points on that, but I can maybe debrief that talk later this week. Today I wanted to respond to a question I got on LinkedIn from a friend, client, who works for a global organization, and she was asking me, hey, with AI, does that mean we no longer need to do stakeholder engagement? And I had to ask her some clarifying questions on what she meant by that. Originally, I thought the question was, so if you can just use AI to make a decision, that means you don't need to socialize it, can you just move on? So I thought it was a really interesting question. I wanted to share some ideas that I shared with her, but I wanted to kind of broaden the perspective as well. I guess where she was coming from was like, if you can use AI, say ChatGPT, and give it context. Say you work for a global business and in the old days, you would consult the procurement manager on maybe a project or an idea. What you can say with ChatGPT is, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to pretend that you are the procurement manager for this type of business, yada, yada. What would you do in the situation and what would you recommend? So you're using ChatGPT as that spar partner, the idea, the thought breeder, something that I do in that conversation, and using that to then give you feedback so then you can move your project on. And I guess what I shared with her is that, sure, if you see stakeholder engagement as only as 100% of I want information from you to strengthen this project or proposal or idea, AI is actually, it won't be too bad. Where the nuances are of course of in the context, in the business, in this point of time. Which again, you can also brief, but the procurement manager in your business might also have perspectives on that or know where things are heading based on your strategies. So there's stuff that you would miss by just consulting AI as your thought partner. The second thing I was sharing with her is that stakeholder engagement just isn't about getting the information. Like, we think it's just, we need to interview this person, they're hard to get, and so it's going to delay our project. But the reason why we want to involve that person is because we want to pre-sell the idea. We don't get buy-in later on. We want them to be part of the process. When a lot of people ask me about how do you lead change, how do you get them along the journey, my response is really simple. You bring them along the journey. You actually bring them along the journey. So you make the time, you find the time to meet with them. So I would say like a really high proportion of leading change, of stakeholder engagement, is making them feel like they have been part of the journey and that you have considered their opinion as part of it. A lot of this is around building alignment, also a bit of the politics of showing respect, and these are things that AI just can't simulate as well. And a lot of the decisions that you're trying to maybe shape within a global business or big corporation, it's not based purely on facts, which is what AI can give you, but it's shaped by relationships, it's shaped by perception, and this whole thing around engagement that helps you read the room. You get a gauge on what they're thinking just through their non-verbals, their verbals, how quick they are to commit and see you, all that sort of stuff. I really like the idea around the Benjamin Franklin effect, which is that people like you more after they've done something for you. And there's an old fable, I don't know if it's a fable, because I think Benjamin Franklin wrote about this in his autobiography, but there's a guy in Congress that he didn't get along with, and so he thought, right, I know this man has a really great collection of books on this particular topic, so I'm actually going to ask if I can borrow one of his books. And you think, oh wow, so ask a favour from someone that doesn't even like you, that's kind of a big call. But it's an effect where people love sharing their advice, giving their opinions, feeling valuable to other people. And so if you can tap into that by stakeholder engagement, by having conversations, by socialising an idea, people feel like they're of value, which is also another way to shape behaviour too. So AI can absolutely inform you, it can help you think of objections. So that's what I'd probably use AI for as well. With stakeholder engagement is actually mapping out, imagine this role, what objections would they have to this idea, and help me think of ways to shape my ideas so we can overcome those. Objection handling would be helpful, but you still need to persuade, you still need to do the work to get buy-in at the moment in 2025. It might change. So use it as leverage. Use it to save time on things like on admin and to maybe sharpen your ideas, but it is unable to automate the relationship, unfortunately or fortunately. Let me know if that lands with you, and thanks for tuning in today. I'll speak to you tomorrow.